And look, I thought I'd done enough to win the fight. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't as clear cut as I'd initially wanted it to be, but I definitely thought I'd done enough.
I genuinely think he took way too much punishment, and that's, I mean, that was so severe. If I were him, I'd never fight again.
Well, Wardley showed his limitations and his lack of pedigree, and he was very crude with that right hand over the right hand attack, but he showed so much heart and guts and desire. He just kept going for it. He was never going to quit, was he? He was never going to turn around and fold or take a knee and quit in there.
Fabio Wardley speaks out for the first time after announcing retirement. He admits he is completely broken after this defeat and says the loss has shattered his confidence and spirit, revealing he now wants rest from boxing and is seriously considering retirement because he feels mentally drained and unable to continue at elite level anymore.
Fights and stuff, it can sway the judge's opinion of where they think the fight's going and how it's going out and stuff. And there's little annoyances as well, blood going in my eye and in my mouth and stuff like that. So
Fabio Wardley reflects on his career with pride, saying his achievements have become part of his legacy in boxing. However, he makes it clear he doesn't want to go through that level of punishment repeatedly. His words suggest a fighter aware of the damage, becoming more cautious about how long he can continue.
Isn't it? It's great to have that part of my history now, part of my legacy, but I'm not trying to do it too many times over.
Frank Warren reacts to Fabio Wardley's retirement talk with concern, saying he hopes it is not the end of his boxing career. He makes it clear that if Wardley continues, the team will support him in the right way moving forward. Warren also reflects on Wardley's journey, highlighting that he has been involved in some truly great and memorable fights in his career.
Well, I hope that's not going to be the case for him, and if he carries on, you know, we certainly would be looking to help him in that way. But look, he's been involved in some of the.
Eddie Hearn questions Fabio Wardley's recent decision-making, suggesting something felt off in his fight-week confidence and energy while praising him as a great servant to boxing. He admits the matchup seemed strange. His comments hint that Wardley may not have been in the right mindset, raising concerns about his direction and future choices.
What a servant has he been to boxing?
He's a great guy. I just felt this week, you know, like I've been around him a lot of fight weeks, I just didn't feel any kind of confidence or buzz. And I think when I heard that this fight was getting made, I thought, that's a strange fight.
Duke McKenzie praises Fabio Wardley's incredible heart, but also highlights the brutal punishment he took in the fight. He suggests the damage was so severe that it could affect him long-term, even expressing sympathy for him. His reaction shifts from admiration to concern, showing just how physically punishing the contest truly was.
A heart as big as a bucket, and some of the punches he took last night, he may not come back from, because he was taking right hands, he was eating them so flush. It was quite brutal to watch at times. I've actually got sorry.
Dominic Ingle gives a very harsh assessment suggesting Fabio Wardley may have taken too much damage to continue improving at elite level. He believes Wardley has natural ability, but hasn't proven himself against current champions, which raises doubts about his progress. In his view, repeated hard fights have limited his ability to rebuild technically. The concern is not talent, but whether his career has already absorbed too much physical punishment.
Fight difference, fighting a world champion, a legitimate world champion for a title, and beating a world champion who's already a world champion. And Fabio Wardley hasn't beat a current world champion to be the champion, has he?
Josie Parker's been a champion.
Yeah, but he wasn't the champion, right? So
Eric Chisora criticizes Wardley's approach, saying he lacked basic boxing fundamentals like the jab and relied too heavily on power shots. His frustration highlights poor preparation and discipline in the ring. Chisora believes Wardley abandoned structure and fought recklessly instead of boxing smart. In his view, this performance reflects a fighter who did not execute the game plan properly and paid the price for ignoring technical basics under pressure.
Fabio was not ready for boxing. You don't jab, nothing, looking for power shots. It's like he didn't train. He was busy commentating. Little bastard. He was supposed to fucking train in the gym. Dude, how many jabs did Fabio chuck? Less jabs. He didn't chuck no jabs. He didn't do anything.
Carl Froch breaks down Wardley's performance as technically flawed, pointing out his crude attacks and lack of range control. He believes Wardley relied too much on knockout hunting rather than disciplined boxing. Froch acknowledges his career success, but warns that naivety and poor shot selection cost him in this fight. In his analysis, Wardley's failure to maintain fundamentals like foot positioning and timing ultimately left him exposed against a sharper opponent.
Wardley neglected all of his little bit of boxing skill, what he's learned over the white collar and through the fights that he's been involved in. I mean, he's had a fantastic career, and I don't think this is the end of Fabio Wardley at all, but he showed that he's a bit naive and a bit green. Like I said, his attacks were very crude. I don't know what Ben Davison should have been telling him. Stop throwing that overhand right from out of range. He's looking for the knockout punch. He's not even got his feet.
Delivers a very concerning breakdown of the fight, focusing on the alarming condition Wardley was in during the later rounds. He describes him stumbling, disoriented, and struggling to even understand what was happening around him. His concern grows as he questions ringside safety and medical attention during such heavy punishment. While he praises Wardley's iron chin and toughness, he also highlights how dangerous the situation truly became.
Fabio is stumbling around. He's not even aware of his surroundings, it doesn't look like. The doctors are checking on him round after round. And, you know, I said Daniel had big stones to get off the canvas. Fabio Wardley's got a chin of iron because he ate some absolute nukes. Shots that put Anthony Joshua on the floor from Daniel Dubois and probably would have put a lesser man in the hospital that night. I mean, I'm sure Fabio's in the hospital now, but stretcher job.
Strongly warns against any idea of a rematch, saying the punishment Wardley took was far too severe to risk again. He believes continuing after such damage could be extremely dangerous for his health and long-term future. His tone is serious and protective, focusing less on competition and more on safety. McGuigan clearly feels Wardley has nothing left to prove in another immediate fight and should step away from danger. In his opinion, retirement or a long break would be the safest and most responsible option after such a brutal encounter.
I think he should fight. I genuinely don't think he should take that rematch. I think that's too dangerous. I genuinely think he took way too much punishment, and that was so severe. If I were him, I'd never.
First half of the fight, he kept his shape. The jab was working, dominating head to body, slinging that big hand over the top. He had good feet for a big guy. He looked the part. But then there was no plan B that he could rely on if that didn't work. From round 6, the shape had gone completely. When he got hit, he turned, and trust me, this boy has got no coward in him. But without a backup plan, there was nowhere left to go.
First half of the fight, he kept his shape. You know, the jabs were working, dominating head to body. Kept slinging that big right hand over the top. Now and again, he'd whip it up the middle. He had good feet for a big guy, good feet. And I thought, you look the part. But then there was no plan B that he could rely on if that didn't work. And you saw from round 6, he lost his shape. The shape had gone because there was no plan B. You know, when he get hit, he was like, he completely turned. And trust me, this boy's got no coward in him.
He is, and came through that test. You know, coming off the back of a loss, I was a bit nervy to start off with and a bit all over the place, but I pulled it together and got the victory.
Never seen a heavyweight fight that captivating, that entertaining, round after round, backwards and forwards. The heart on these guys, the balls, the bravery. That's what you want to pay. That's what you want to. We hope every time we tune in for a heavyweight championship, you're getting that type of energy. They both gave everything they had. I could watch that 10 times.
Nobody could ever question this young man again. Yeah? All that quitting nonsense. Nobody will ever question him again.
Two-time heavyweight champion of the world under you.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
There's more to come. There's more to come. We were in there with a very dangerous fighter in the name of Fabio Wardley. He should be proud of himself.
What happens next could define both men's legacies in boxing. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Wardley continue fighting or